As a beginning videographer, my biggest question was always, what does a successful person in this industry look like? What does a successful videographer look like? What do they wear? Who do they talk to? Where do they go? What equipment do they have? For some reason, that question was the biggest question I had, and you probably relate because we both know if we know what that looks like, if we understand who they are and what they do, we can probably replicate it, add our own spin to it, and also become successful. Well, in today's video, I'm going to talk a little bit about what I've learned about what that successful videographer does and why we have put our spin to the word videographer and started calling ourselves vidpreneurs. The reason we really decided to do this was in this search to figure out who these successful people are, these successful videographers. I realized that they're kind of two things. They're a videographer and an entrepreneur. So as we dive through these things I'm going to share with you about what I learned, who they are and what they do, I want you to keep that in mind, that we're not just talking about a videographer here. We're talking about a business owner. We're talking about an entrepreneur. We're talking about a person with a vision. And that's really the biggest difference in who succeeds and who doesn't in this industry. It's a person with a vision, an entrepreneur who wants to build a business, a videographer who has a creative vision, a creative drive to really change the world. So that is really kind of the nutshell of what I want you to have in mind as we're going through these points. So when we're talking about being a successful videographer, the most important thing that we need to hone in on is our mindset and vision. And where I find a lot of freelance videographers fail at this is just focusing on the next project, trying to get the deliverables done and sent to the client, trying to get the bills paid. Yeah, that's our goal, right? As videographers, we have a business. Our goal is to make money and pay the bills. But at the same time, if we don't want to just be caught up in the rat race and work for the rest of our lives, we have to focus on a longer vision, a long-term vision, a long-term goal to actually build our business versus just taking care of the need we have for money. So when we're talking about mindset and vision, where a successful videographer thrives is in relationships and long-term thinking. They're not just looking to sell that next project. They're looking to sell the next year. They're looking to sell the next strategy. So when they're working with clients, they're not just that guy that captures video. They're that video strategic partner. So anything they have within that realm, they're going to reach out to them to get answers versus just hiring them to shoot a video. So when it comes to mindset and vision, if you're a videographer, stop thinking about the next project. Think about how you can partner with people. Position yourself as a strategic thinker, a problem solver, so people use you more than just holding a camera. The second thing we got to talk about is what everybody needs is good marketing and client acquisition. I think this is something that you can't really do no wrong here. So when I'm talking about what a freelancer does and what a vidpreneur does, I want you to know I'm not saying either one's wrong. I'm just saying really what you want to do, what a vidpreneur, a truly successful person does, is marry both of them. But when we're talking about a freelancer and what they do for marketing and client acquisition, where they fall short is just focusing on word of mouth, job posting, and local opportunities. I think honestly, this is the most important thing you should focus on at first. This should become your bread and butter, how you build your clientele and really start to build your book of business so you can venture out. But what really happens with these freelance videographers, the ones that don't truly become as successful as they could be, is they just rely on these. They don't venture out and scale their business, and they just focus on these word of mouth clients, which eventually dry up. So you have to be focusing on what a successful videographer, a vidpreneur does, which is not just crushing it locally, which you should do. They do that, but they also focus on social media and online marketing. They focus on creating organic content that connects with the audience and the target that they're trying to reach and speak to, but they also are running ads that sell the offers and products they want to offer those clients, so they don't have to focus on doing it with the organic content. So like I said, a freelance videographer focuses more on local. The vidpreneur pairs the online presence with local to become successful. I don't think there is one or the other. I think anybody who wants to really scale and become successful and create comfort within their life should be doing both. If you need to leave this video right now, this tip will change everything for you. Don't just be a guy with a camera. Find a way to be more valuable than just that. How can you be a video problem solver, which is what this third step on being a successful videographer is all about. When we're talking about pricing and value perception, what freelance videographers really get wrong is they get caught up in competing on price. So when they're trying to sell that next project because they need it, right? They want to land the next one. They're competing. When a client can't match their price, they're willing to go down constantly. I mean, almost to the point that the client will just say yes, and it ends up being the price that the client asked for in the first place. And this is where you do not want to be. When you present yourself as just a contractor filling a role, it's very easy to be here because it's just a plug and play service. What a vidpreneur, a successful videographer, does differently here that really changes everything is they position themselves as a problem solver. They position themselves as that video strategic thinker, that person that comes into your business and solves the problem of video, because video is a big problem for all business owners. Y'all, I've been filming video for 8 years. Nobody really gets it. It's still something that they don't get. And it's honestly not their fault and not part of their business. They shouldn't get it. That's what you're here for. So that's why this is essential. Yeah, they would love to have a lower price videographer to just take care of the project. But what people like even more is a successful, intentional, expert videographer that can come in and solve the entire problem of video so their processes can be better, so they can make more money with their sales and overall grow as a business. If you're priced right and your value is perceived, you naturally need to start focusing on your business systems and scalability. I think where the worst perception can come in from freelance videographers in this point is the fact that they should be selling their time for money, which overall makes it super hard to scale, because when you're focused on my time equals X amount of dollars, you're typically focused on you being present, doing the work, and getting the money. Where a successful videographer, a vidpreneur, starts to stray away from the pack and starts to build something, to scale something, they start to think about the value they're providing, like we just talked about. So when you're starting to provide that value, you know, at the end of the day, the main goal is to get this end deliverable. So you actually don't have to do it. You could hire a team to do it as long as that same product is produced, which is the important part about making sure you're not trading your time for money. Because when you're selling that product, you're actually kind of selling that process, that system. So if you can find people to man the system, you can scale and grow. So as a freelance videographer, you shouldn't be focused on selling your time for money. You should be focused on selling a valuable product that's going to make your client's life easier. So when you can do that, you're not selling yourself, you're selling the product. You can hire a team to man it, and then you can focus on scaling the business, which is really, really what's going to change the game for you. When I'm sitting down interviewing successful entrepreneurs about their business, they always talk about the one thing that changed everything for them was that they quit running it. They started to focus on their business rather than working in it. This is where you can start to change your life right now as a videographer. We're talking about building these products and scaling and having teams. You have to be connected to your community and build a network in order for any of this to happen. And where freelance videographers fall short here is they tend to operate solo, only networking when they need the work. So like we talked about, they're accepting all of these projects. They're doing all of these projects by themselves, never creating additional time, never creating teams, and just essentially stuck in this infinite cycle and loop of all by themselves, barely making any money. But what a successful videographer does, they don't just focus on taking care of the project by themselves. They focus on building a community, collaborating with other professionals, and creating an ecosystem. So even if they can't fulfill the job, they know somebody that can. This just overall goes back to what we talked about in being more of a video problem solver versus a videographer. You have a network of people that can solve many different problems outside of just video regardless. So something that you need to focus on if you want to build these teams, price, and have value, you've got to be a community focused videographer. You got to focus on building a network, because when you're stuck doing things solo, it's so hard to make more money. It's impossible to make more money. And it's just impossible to scale your product as well, because you cannot be a one person team and charge $20,000 for a video project. You can be a 4 to 5 person team that are not employed by each other, that are just contractors with each other to put this package together. But you can't do that unless you have a community and network. Something that videographers do to make this easier, the successful ones, is they focus on their brand authority and niching down. I don't necessarily believe as a videographer you have to niche down. I think you could build enough of a brand and a local authority with entrepreneurs that you can do multiple niches. But I think for most of us, you probably do want to niche down. And this is what they do, which helps them not just build that community and network, but also allows them to make more money as a business regardless. Because when people start to realize who you are as a brand, what you offer as a brand, who you help the most as a brand, it just makes them more likely to want to pay you the higher premiums, because they have people that look like them, do what they do, that have been saying you've crushed it. So something that you also want to focus on being successful as a videographer is your brand authority and niching down if you have to. I personally do not do that. You will see me shoot sports videos. You will see me shoot, school videos. You will see me shoot educational videos. a plethora of things, but it's mainly because I focus on helping entrepreneurs holistically scale with video, not just shooting promo videos or process videos and stuff like that. At the end of the day, if you want to succeed as a videographer, the most important thing you should focus on is just long-term success. You should never be focused on just the next thing. I think when I got started out, like the difference between where I am now and where I was when I just got started out is I really had the need to pay the bills. So I was constantly focused on what is next? What is going to come to me? Where am I going to get this? And I was stressed. So every time I was talking to people, they could feel it. They could tell I needed their money. I wanted their money. I desired their money. And I wanted more than anything else for them to say yes. And to your surprise, most of them said no. What made this way easier to succeed and win at is when I stopped needing it to work and just desired it to work. Like when I stopped sitting on a call with a client, selling them a video package because I needed to pay tomorrow's rent, and I got on a call and I was focused way more on actually helping the client with video overall and stop just selling them. And whether or not they say yes, that's cool, because I know where I want to be in 5 years. If they say yes to this $1,000 a month retainer, that will probably help a lot, but it won't change everything. It won't change my trajectory. So that's just the biggest focus. If you guys can just let go of the need, focus more on the impact you can make with your product and let that be known, let people know that you're so invested in your product, you care less even if they paid you, that will change everything. That will help you go from a freelance videographer barely paying the bills to a vidpreneur crushing it. You can do it.